You're listening to
Super Dad. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
Wow, Gary, can you believe it? We're back.
I can't believe we were asked to come back.
I can't believe
to be fair.
The second one. Welcome everybody to the Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun radio station in the UAE. This is a show produced, managed and presented by Super Dads for, you guessed it, the unsung heroes of family life, the Super Dad. Each week we'll invite a Super Dad onto the show to discuss family, careers, challenges and life in general as a modern day superhero. And if you stick with us over the coming weeks, I can guarantee you'll come out the other side a Super Dad. I'm Sam, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by the man often referred to as Britain's answer to David Hasselhoff, Gary Sherrington Boyd.
Trust me, you don't want to see me in those Speedos. You alright, mate? How's it going?
Very good, pal.
Did you have a good week?
It's been good, yeah, not too bad. Works up and down. You know.
No, I had a good week as well. Had a cheeky brunch this weekend, so it was, it was good fun. It was good fun, mate. It's been
And the
good.
kids are here from the UK, right?
Oh, yeah, well, I've got all three in the house now. I got literally, it feels like a house full of 15 adults.
Is it really?
And I live in a big house, to be fair. Not boasting, Dubai, not boasting. But I feel like I need to move out. I think I might sleep here this evening.
Well, it's pretty comfortable in here. It's soundproof, so your snoring probably wouldn't get heard.
And as Pablo hasn't said I can't yet, I'm just going to take that as a yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, listen, before we go and introduce our Super Dad's guest, we're going to pop off for a quick break. And if you want to learn all about everything in the real estate industry here in the UAE, stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM.
You're listening to
Super Dad. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, guys, to Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM. So today, I'm excited to be able to introduce our Super Dad, Mr. Harry from, I've already forgotten the company name.
It doesn't matter.
Tregonoggin.
That's it. Well, it's my surname, Tregoning, which
Tregoning.
most people can't pronounce. Tregoning Property. And that's always a bit of a challenge for anyone to have a pronunciation. The call centres
It's very Cornish.
It's very Cornish, and the call centres can't get it at all.
Well, I have to say, apart from that appalling introduction,
It
thank
was
you
terrible.
so much for being here with us on Super Dads today.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. It's great to come to this wonderful studio and to meet you guys and see if we can help you along anyway.
No, appreciate it. But
Well, that's the whole point of the show. Every week we ask a Super Dad to come on to talk to the other Super Dads that should be hopefully tuning in at home now with all our stresses and worries and strains of life to try and help their path a little bit clearer.
But I mean, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself? How did you get
Me?
into the property industry? Tell us about your family as well.
Okay, so I'm married and I've got two children. Charlie is 6, and Eddie, who is about 9 months.
Oh, wow, okay. Bit of a break.
So a bit of a break between, but there was a natural reason for that. I got quite ill between it, so I wasn't allowed to do that sort of thing. And now,
Give birth. Is that why you were ill? Because you actually were the one.
No, I had testicular cancer, so
wow.
that puts a bit of a downer on those
Getting
things. So, but luckily, that's if you're going to get cancer, it's a good one to have because it's a 95% cure.
Fantastic. You're okay now?
Yeah, grand.
Superb, amazing.
And so, but anyway, I started doing this business probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I started with a partner originally, and then we went our own ways. And the reason I went into it is because the first house I rented, the agent the house we rented, he said, "Go and just take the keys under the mat." So we let ourselves in. We decided we'd like to rent it. I rang him. He turned up to sign the contract, and then I rang him afterwards because we had problems. He said, "No, not my problem now. Wow. Go to the landlord." Yeah, so he took his commission and off he went. So, and sometimes it's genuine because you're not in the same area, and people say, "I want to see it now," but this chap wasn't coming. But I just thought, customer service was something that you could work on quite a bit. And I think everyone, when they move into this area, they always see opportunity from their home countries.
Well, I mean, when you say that about sometimes they're not around the corner when you call to set up appointments. I mean, this can't be a 9 to 5 job. I mean, how do you balance work and family life, especially with a young, a new young one?
Well, my wife gets pretty cross sometimes when my phone rings at all hours of the night. Different cultures ring at all times. But I suppose we have very much a routine that we try and stick to through the day. And Fridays we have off.
Okay, fantastic.
Apart from answering the phone. People want to do viewings, but you've got to have one day off when you get away from it all.
So what's quality time for Harry and the family? So your day off, I assume, is always a Friday?
Yeah. We go, well, we're members of the sailing club. We go to the sailing club, which is good fun.
Introduction needed.
It's Dubai Offshore Sailing Club. It's actually a lovely part of Dubai because it's old fashioned and a good opportunity to go and do something different. In fact, funny enough, I go surfing in the evening quite a lot.
Oh, nice.
And
okay.
There are 2 great times because I can't have my phone with me and it doesn't ring, which is even better. That's really, really fun. But so I suppose we try and do all sorts of family things on Friday, whether it be going to a children's party or going shopping or feel really unlucky going to a soft play area.
Gary, you don't have that anymore, do you?
I still go on my own, but...
Well, that's weird, seeing someone like you in a soft play.
It's not for me.
That's very different. Well, listen, we'll hold it there.
Lucky cheeky monkeys in walking distance to your house, isn't it?
I think they closed it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not allowed within about 50 feet.
They had to steam clean it after you.
Yeah, no, I'm banned from there now. So.
But anyway, listen, thanks so much, Harry. We're going to come right back and ask you some more questions about the rental market here, or the real estate market here. Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, and we're back right after the break.
You're listening to
Super Dad. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you're still tuned in. I'm having a lovely time having a chat with my mate Sam here and Mr. Harry, who's joined us today. As I say, welcome back to Super Dads, 102 Pearl FM. Still the #1 fun station in the UAE, as far as I've been told. Anyone told you differently?
Well, we hope it will still be fun after we've finished with it.
Well, hopefully the world.
The world.
Let's
will be
forget
better
about the
place,
UAE.
better
Let's
place.
collaborate.
We're going to go. Super Dads are going to go global.
Let's bring the world together. I feel like I'm singing a Michael Jackson song or something.
Please don't start singing.
No. The boss will come running in and start joining in, and we don't need that in our lives today. So I'm going to get straight on to question 2, Harry. Sort of a personal question. We, as a family, will be moving on to pastures new in Dubai in the next 5-6 months or so. I know that's a bit of a forecast. I'm a planner. What can I say? Like to plan things.
You should see his spreadsheets.
Oh, love them. Love a spreadsheet. Come on, Dad, you all have a spreadsheet too. What would be the up-and-coming areas? Now, in my job personally, I'm supplying lots of different material at the moment for some massive developments, but far, far, far away.
Well, I presume you're moving from one part of Emirates Hills to another. Is that right?
He gives that impression, but no, definitely not.
No. I'm Karama. No, I'm currently in Al Manara.
You're currently in Al Manara, and I understand you're going to be moving to the marina.
We're thinking the marina. We kind of want that on your doorstep, social, family life, near things.
Walk out your door, go for
walk
a
out your door. So
yeah.
Everyone's less dependent on me to be Kareem. That's my little joke. Kareem and Gary. Kareem.
I thought you mispronounced it.
Or
then.
Goober.
Well done.
Goober.
No, you definitely look like a goober.
When I lived in London, I had a Ford S-Max. Everyone said I was Addison G. Anyway, so we're thinking about the marina. We're thinking about the marina, but at the same time, we're kind of open to areas that give us that community and lots of things on our doorstep, but not the marina.
The great thing about Dubai is there's no real SW1 like in London. Everyone wants to be right in the central bit, and here there are great places to live all over Dubai, whether it be Arabian ranches. There's some amazing houses. Well, there's a variation of what you can live in, from the sort of Mirador mansions to the Al Reem 2 beds, 3 beds, and that's quite typical of all the communities. And there are new communities all the time springing up further and further down Al Qudra, as far as I can tell. But Dubai Hills is opening this year, and I think that's going to be a very popular development.
But do you think that's going to be cost competitive? because obviously on the doorstep is going to be the huge mall?
Well, everyone likes something new in Dubai, so immediately people will be wanting to move for that reason. Cost competitive. They've been bought already. Many of these houses, they're owned through off-plan purchases. So these guys are going to be wanting to get some money back quite quickly, and they'll because it's a freehold area, they'll have mortgages to service, I presume, and or to get their bank keep their banks happy. So when you're in a freehold area, generally the landlords are much more market sensitive, and you can see that really by the areas where the market's fallen most in the area in Dubai, sort of where the freehold areas are sort of Emirates Living and Arabian Ranches. They're the main two, and they fell over 10% in 2018, according to there was the property monitor team at Cavendish Maxwell just came out with these figures a bit earlier this year, and they still see the slide going on, but of course these are all owned by people potentially with mortgages who are treating it like an investment. So
do you think that now, because of, I mean, you mentioned they're moving down Al Qudra, these new areas that are popping up, Dubai Hills, places like that, people who potentially are looking in the older parts of Dubai, shall we say, have a stronger bargaining position because of the oversupply, shall we say, of these new communities?
Well, it's definitely rippling, probably inwards. The fall. I mean, the thing is, if you're not geographically aware of Dubai and you arrive next week, you can get a brand new house in Arabian Ranches 2 for the same price as an old villa in Sukim 1, and you might face the traffic, but at least you've got something new. So there's competitive, and there's always new stock, new options causes people to move. It's one of the great things about Dubai. People try different things like you, Gary.
Well, here's a question for you then. Imagine you've got a wife that doesn't like to drive. In fact, won't drive.
Well, if they won't drive,
hypothetically,
they're going to use a Goober.
Just call me. 800 GALY.
Okay, so realistically, you're going to try and keep the cost down. So you've got to look at where she's working, if she's working, and where other things that are important, like the school. But you probably would aim to be living near a tram stop or near a metro station to keep the cost down of transport. I think if she doesn't drive, you're probably looking to be more in a sort of apartment area, because there are shops within walking distance.
Well, I'm informed. Are you informed, Mr. Sam?
I'd certainly more so than I was when I came in here, but I think there's still more to learn.
I would definitely agree with that. So we're going to go back to that after the next break on 102 Pearl FM. Still the number one fun station for the UAE.
Stick with the Super Dads, guys.
You're listening to
Super Dads. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM. Yeah, I'm still here with Gary and Harry talking about all things property here in the UAE. Thanks for sticking with us. So before the break, we were talking a little bit more about the choice that people have, the expanding choice that's coming with the property market moving. But I suppose some of the most commonly asked questions are, when is the right time to move? And what are the costs associated with it? So, I mean, can you give us a little bit of an insight into that?
Well, the first thing, if you are going to move, is to read your contract where you're staying already and work out how much notice to give, because that's absolutely vital. If you miss that, you can the contract will renew automatically, and you're pretty well tied in for another year.
Wow.
Is there a standard amount that's normally there that can be changed? Is it
it's contract to contract, but they range from 3 months to 1 month, basically. Okay. And occasionally they don't put any notice in at all, but I think there's ways of being fair than packing up on your last day of your contract without telling them and leaving. Yeah.
Just leave the keys under the mat.
Leave the keys under the mat. But I think you that's the first point you must really get right, your exit.
On the other side of that coin, what notice does the landlord need to give you if he wants the property back?
They have to give you 12 months and it has to be notarized notice, and there are only 3 reasons they can take the property back. 1 is to move into it, 2 is to knock it down, and 3 is to do extensive works to the property. So as a tenant, you're pretty safe.
Okay. Have you seen a change in that? I mean, you've been doing it here for quite a while now. Has the protection of the tenant become better?
Yeah, very much so. The RERA they have the Rent Disputes Committee, and they very much come down on the side of the tenant regularly.
How easy is it to if you get into that case, to go and ask them for help, to bring a case, that kind of thing?
Well, you can go and see them, and you can start a case, but you have to put a deposit down. Right. And I think you've got to quite often take a view whether the deposit is worth what you're trying to gain.
I heard the deposit was 10% of the value of the property you were renting.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Pretty well.
So, is that the annual rent or the total property value?
I think it's of the annual rent.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So easy maths. If it's 200,000 and it's 10%, that's 20,000. So you got to put down 20,000 dirham to raise the complaint.
I've never been through it myself, but I believe there is a percentage that you have to pay.
Wow.
Okay.
We generally deal with people moving in, not moving out.
But I suppose you talk about that. There's probably a concept. There's a perception out there of agents that you mentioned it, that the reason you set up is to give a better customer service to the people out there. But I mean, what should dads and families out there looking to move? What should they look for in an agent, other than calling you straight after this?
No, I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that. But I think you've got to look in the area you're moving to and try and find an expert in that area. Yeah. I wouldn't advise using multiple agents because you in this town, so many properties are marketed by lots of agents. And if you use 1 or 2, at least you've got a chance of seeing fresh apartments or villas every time you look. If you ring everybody, you'll probably go back to the same apartment 7 times.
Yeah.
How does that work then? Sorry, Gary, I'm asking all the questions here.
You are. You just take over.
I like the sound of my own voice. How does that work then from your perspective? If you've got seven different people showing the same property to the same person, shall we say? I mean, how do you differentiate?
Well, you should research, I suppose, for your client's bed and say, what have you seen already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you differentiate? You hope you do it on service, so you've got a bit of recommendation. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, there's a certain element of luck. But you see, in this town, because the customer pays the commission, it doesn't matter to a landlord whether he markets at 1 person or 20. There's no...
Yeah, I mean, I found that when we first moved to Dubai, and obviously we were looking at marina property, and one of the challenges we had is you look at one property and you end up having 2 agents either fighting over it or talking about sharing the commissions, and then as a consumer, that kind of concerns you that you maybe have 2 different sets of contracts.
They shouldn't tell you. They shouldn't let you know if they're splitting.
They're very open about it as well, to be fair. But I found that very much more in the marina type area than where we are now in Al Manara or when we lived in Sakim.
Yeah, well, I haven't done very much work in the marina, so I can't talk about it. Well, if we're showing you around, we won't tell you if we're splitting or not, just because if you say too much, you might end up trying to push someone to a property you're not splitting on. Well, I don't think that's particularly fair. And I would say 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. That's
true. But you're talking about areas now. Where's your strongest area? So I'm looking to move. I come to Harry because he's the expert in what postcodes.
I personally do a lot in Jumeirah and Sakim. Mm-hmm. It's where I live. I'm probably in the right dynamic, sort of father with young children. It's a great family area. It's very good for schools. You know, there's Raffles here, there's King's Dubai, there's Horizon International, Horizon School.
There's quite a good nursery around here as well, I understand.
There are lots of good nurseries.
Kangaroo Kids is
I knew you were going to say that. I was going to say Kangaroo Kids.
It's amazing principle. So, Harry, we need to understand more about you and what makes you a super dad.
Because that's the premise of the show. Like, what makes you a super dad?
A day in the life.
I'm not sure you can really say you're a super dad, because I think your children will probably point out your weaknesses as they get older.
We don't really care what they think, though.
We'll make the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the world we're living
in. In terms of how we do it, we split up our lives. We get up and we obviously give our son Charlie breakfast, and if we haven't been kept awake by the baby all night, we're feeling quite fresh. My wife does the breakfast, and I walk the dog.
What's the dog's name?
The dog is called Zuma.
Zuma.
Named
after the Japanese restaurant in DIC?
Not after the
okay.
nor the South African president, but named after one of the puppies in Paw Patrol.
Of course, yes. How listeners out there with kids, if you don't know who Zuma is, you can't call yourself a super dad.
That's why I didn't know, because my kids obviously haven't watched things like that for many years now. And what make is the dog?
It's the one we have is a Labradoodle. Labrador Saluki.
Labrador Saluki. Very nice. Okay.
Very nice. So you're walking the dog.
So what that I come back then. Quick turnaround, and I take Charlie to school. He's at school quite locally at Horizon International, and then I go back and either have a cup of tea with my wife, or I'll go straight to the office, or I'll go and do a viewing. And then I tend to stay out and about till about 5 o'clock. When it gets dark, it's the end of your day really, because D was not on in many empty properties, and no one has ever rented off me. We're using a torch. So
maybe a head torch. Maybe that could be a thing. That could be a USP.
God,
houses by candlelight.
No, I quite like having the natural cut off. To be fair, and then I go home and hopefully spend a bit of time with Charlie. Mainly, Eddie's quite young, so you're mainly carrying at this stage.
Just smiling,
seeing if there's any progress. Enjoying life, and I'll either do the bath or try and read a story, and occasionally I get roped into homework as well.
Oh dear!
I thought I'd done the last of that many years ago.
I don't know. I have a while to look forward to that yet, but yeah.
I never did it. My kids always recognised that they were cleverer than me.
Gary, that's not difficult.
Exactly.
But then on Fridays we'll go and, as I said, we'll go sailing, or we'll do an activity. During the summer last year we were stuck here, and we tried every activity we could find in Dubai to keep Charlie happy. And from Orby in Murdiff Town Centre, we did Cheeky Monkeys, and we did all sorts of. There's Ollie we went to, and lots of other really quite fun things to do in Dubai when it gets warm.
Other fun indoor play centres are available, just for our listeners.
Absolutely,
but not Cheeky Monkeys anymore.
Not Cheeky Monkeys.
Well, there's Adventure HQ, isn't there, up on Sakim Road? It's fantastic.
I've noticed you've lost a little bit of timber. Very pleased for you. Have you done that with your busy schedule?
My wife very kindly gives me time to go and exercise in the evening.
Oh, bless her.
And
what's your wife's name?
Letitia.
Very nice to meet you, Letitia.
Yeah, and thanks for letting us have him today.
Thank you for supporting his weight loss.
Well, I think she's driven it. But yeah, so I tend to go to the gym for about an hour in the evening, or I'll go and do an exercise. I play football, or I'll go surfing, whatever it might be. Try and do something for an hour. And I first started doing it through an app called Guava Pass, which I don't think exists anymore, and there's Class Pass, which is melted into. And what it does is it aggregates lessons at gyms, so that you can go to each gym 3 times a month.
Oh, super.
And so you don't get bored of the same exercise you do. Yeah. So I cracked into that. Did various things, from boxing to going to flip out, where they used to have exercise classes. Not so much Zuma these days. I haven't done any salsa, but there's all sorts of sort of yoga and things that you can do. I'm the most inflexible person in the entire planet.
Ask you if you were bendy.
No chance.
Well, listen, I'd rather not talk about how bendy you are, especially you, Gary. But look, let's take a quick break. Keep it here, Super Dads, 102 Pearl FM, and we're back right after the break.
You're listening to
Super Dad. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun station in the UAE.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the show. This will be our last segment of this week's episode of Super Dads, and I have to say, the most exciting part of the show that we love the most. Isn't that right, Samuel?
I don't think anything could be more fun than what we're about to do. I spend my entire week looking forward to this moment.
I wouldn't go that far, but it is fun.
Yeah, well, maybe if my wife's not listening, then probably that's not the only thing I look forward to.
Someone's on the sofa. So it's time for, ladies and gentlemen, Super Dad's Question Time!
Super Dads.
Pow.
Okay, so this is a quick fire round, Harry. We're going to fire questions at you, one each. Okay, we want your first answer so we can learn a little bit more about you. So first up, your favourite film?
Moneyball.
James Bond. Yeah, okay, very good.
Clooney,
Oh,
nice.
No, it's not Clooney. Moneyball.
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Gary,
You
I
call
think it's a money monster. It's got the money in it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Favourite sports team?
Arsenal.
Good
For the
man,
football.
that's what I like to hear. Okay, best restaurant in Dubai.
Well, it's usually where you've been most recently. I love going to the restaurant at dusk, but the other night I went to Netsu in the newly opened Mandarin Oriental. It was fantastic, and they cooked the steak on hay there, which is I've never seen
incredible.
before. Amazing extraction fans to get that smoke out. But that was absolutely delicious.
Perfect. Okay, guilty pleasure, your song in the shower. And you got to sing the first couple of words.
God, it's probably more humming a beat than anything particularly singing.
We can take that, it's fine.
I've never been a great singer.
Okay, moving on. Your favourite child?
I don't have one.
Good answer, good answer.
One day someone's going to answer
They
that
really
question.
I knew someone. I knew someone once, and he overheard his mother saying that she had a favourite child. That didn't go down very well. Luckily, he was old enough to take it.
I was out for dinner recently and I asked some grandparents who their favourite grandchild was, and that turned out quite interestingly. Anyway, so your most favourite meal that your lovely wife cooks for you?
Well, she does some amazing lamb tagine, and I think
incredible.
like every dad, steak's always popular.
Can't go wrong with a
beat a
steak.
steak.
Okay, an important one here. Safe or Magic Phil?
Well, I've met Magic Phil, so I have to go with Magic Phil. And my son Charlie absolutely loves Magic Phil's show.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Favourite holiday destination?
Well, my wife would always laugh at me because I'd say Cornwall because I spent so many years going
That's what I
there.
said last
That's what
night.
Gary said.
But now I'm driven to go to more exotic
locations.
places. And actually, great thing about living in Dubai is to go east. So I love going to Thailand, and we've been to Sri Lanka a number of times. And these places are great to explore. Very different from Cornwall.
Yeah.
But not better.
They all have their pluses and minuses, don't they?
Okay, tea or coffee?
Tea.
And the killer question, who is your favourite Super Dad presenter?
There's no you can't divide you.
I love it.
I love
Look
that
at
answer.
that.
I love that answer.
Well,
What a show.
what an honour it's been to have you here today, Harry.
Well, it's great. It's great fun to come and see you both and see the Pearl FM studios.
But I mean, this show is called Super Dads. Now comes
Take
the
the
tricky
vote.
stuff. We have to decide: is Harry a super dad, Gary?
Well, when he was explaining a day in the life, his day sounded circa 32 hours in a day.
Incredible.
That's super.
He's packing it in. He's got 2 young kids. Well, he's got different ages.
Yeah.
So he has to appeal to both sides.
Yeah.
And a wife.
Does a 6-day week. more or
Incredible.
less.
And rents properties or sells properties to dads.
Yeah, he's got to be, isn't he?
But it's
My vote's in. My
unquestionable,
vote's in.
Harry. Super dad officially.
God, that's very kind. I can't believe. In fact, when I'm going to listen next time, I want to hear you say someone's not a super dad, but they've sat in your studio.
Hey,
I
listen,
tell you what,
it could
it's
happen.
very possible.
You never know. You should
I mean,
see who we've got on next.
The jury's still out on our producer, Pablo.
Pablo is
I'm still not
questionable.
even convinced he's a dad, but anyway. So this is your opportunity, Harry. Tell us about your social media. How do people contact you? If I want to rent, how do I get in contact with you because you're such a lovely guy?
If you rent, you can find me on the normal portals, or you can go to my company website, tregoning.property for here, and we're opening an office in the UK, and that will be tregoningproperty.com. Tregoning is Tregoning.
Write that down, Gary.
It was a mistake to call it that because no one can remember it. But no, my name's on the door, so if something goes wrong, you can come and see me.
Perfect. Any social media, LinkedIn or
We're on
Instagram?
Facebook, Instagram. Twitter doesn't seem to work so well for us.
Yep.
But the Instagram, I think, is going to take off as it becomes more and more visual. Attaching links. Still, Facebook's very, very good here. It's amazing how you can target audiences. You can do it to the people that live in the vicinity of where you advertise, or you can choose sectors of people, and it tells you how many people you're appealing to.
Oh, perfect. That sounds quite interesting. Well, talking of Instagram, before we fade out and finish the show, please follow us at SuperDads DXB, and obviously follow the radio station at Pearl FM. This has been Gary.
And I've been Sam.
This has been Super Dads, and we are on 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun radio station in the UAE, and I'm already looking forward to chatting to you next week.
I don't know if they're going to ask us back.
Oh, they will.
You're listening to
Super dads.
Super
They're so
dads.
crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.